Your content isn't boring. Most creators assume low engagement means weak ideas or poor creativity. In reality, the issue is rarely about interest. It's about effort. When content demands too much mental processing, audiences disengage not because they don't care, but because their cognitive system is designed to conserve energy. It's mentally expensive. From a cognitive psychology perspective, the brain constantly evaluates effort versus reward. If understanding your message feels costly, attention drops automatically. This is not laziness, it's neurological efficiency at work, and successful communication always respects that constraint. People don't avoid content, they avoid friction. Every moment of confusion, every unclear sentence, every overloaded slide, adds resistance. Over time, this resistance trains audiences to scroll past, even if the topic itself is valuable. They avoid thinking too hard. Human decision-making favors simplicity, because it reduces uncertainty and stress. Research on decision fatigue shows that the more effort required to understand something, the less likely people are to act on it. Content must feel easy before it can feel persuasive. Thinking has a cost, working memory is limited, and once it's overloaded, comprehension collapses. Each second of unnecessary complexity drains attention and weakens recall. Clarity protects focus, which is why the most effective messages feel light, not dense. Information doesn't sell. Information increases knowledge, but it does not automatically change behavior. In business contexts, customers rarely buy because they learned more. They buy because uncertainty was reduced. Education without emotional resolution often leads to inaction. Relief does. Relief is the emotional signal that tells the brain, this is safe to move forward. When tension drops, trust rises. That moment of calm understanding is what converts interest into decisions. Clarity feels like calm. Neuroscience research consistently links clarity with reduced cognitive stress. When content feels calm, it creates psychological safety, and safety accelerates trust. Trust, not persuasion, is what drives consistent action. I'll think about it. This phrase is almost never rejection. It's a sign that the brain hasn't resolved uncertainty yet. When clarity is missing, delay becomes a protective response, rather than a conscious objection. It's not logic. People often rationalize confusion by framing it as logic or caution. In reality, the decision system is waiting for simplicity. When clarity is restored, the need to think more disappears. Clear offers don't get delayed. When the path forward is obvious, cognitive resistance drops. Behavioral economics shows that reduced complexity leads to faster decisions. Clear structure allows the brain to relax, and relaxed brains decide. Objections are clarity problems. Most objections are not emotional pushback. They are structural failures in communication. When expectations, outcomes, or next steps are unclear, resistance appears. Fix the structure, and the objection often dissolves on its own. Posting more won't fix this. Volume amplifies confusion if clarity is missing. More content without direction increases noise, not trust. Consistency only works when every message reinforces a clear mental model. Direction creates clarity. When content has a defined purpose, audiences feel guided rather than overwhelmed. Direction reduces cognitive load by telling the brain where to focus. Purpose creates coherence, and coherence builds authority. Noise feels busy. Busy content overwhelms working memory and triggers avoidance. Cognitive load theory shows that excessive stimuli reduce comprehension, recall, and action. In business, this translates to lower conversions, not because the offer is weak, but because the message is heavy. Clarity feels intentional. When content is clear, it signals purpose and control. Intentional communication reduces uncertainty, which the brain interprets as competence. In business psychology, perceived control is directly linked to authority. People trust leaders who make things feel structured and deliberate. Your audience isn't lazy. They're cognitively overloaded. Modern audiences process thousands of stimuli daily, forcing them to protect their attention aggressively. When content respects their mental energy, engagement becomes a natural response rather than something you have to force. Overwhelm blocks action. Behavioral science shows that too many choices trigger paralysis, not motivation. When the brain can't identify a clear next step, it defaults to inaction. Simplification restores momentum by making movement feel safe again. Empathy builds authority. People don't follow who explains the most. They follow who understands them best. Empathy reduces psychological distance, making messages feel personal rather than persuasive. Once people feel understood, resistance drops and influence increases. Simplified to serve. True expertise is measured by how much effort you remove for others. High-performing leaders and brands design systems that reduce friction, not complexity. Service is not about doing more, it's about making things easier to move through. If it needs explanation, it's already costing you attention. The brain forms judgments in milliseconds, and hesitation signals friction. When meaning isn't immediate, attention leaks before logic even has a chance to engage. It's already heavy. Effective content explains itself without additional effort. Cognitive fluency. The ease with which information is processed directly affects trust and credibility. The smoother the experience, the stronger the response. Clarity is design. Every word, pause, and structure choice shapes understanding. Clarity is not accidental. It's engineered through intentional design decisions. In strategy, design is not decoration. It's how meaning is delivered. Confusion is feedback. Confusion doesn't mean your audience is wrong. It means the system needs refinement. High-level thinkers treat confusion as data, not failure. It shows exactly what to remove to restore flow. Stop trying to sound smart. Performing intelligence often creates distance rather than respect. The most intelligent communicators translate complexity into simplicity. Ease of understanding is a signal of mastery, not weakness. Clear beats clever. Across industries, platforms, and markets, clarity consistently outperforms creativity that lacks direction. Cleverness may impress briefly, but clarity builds trust over time. Trust is what sustains growth. Simplicity is confidence. Only confident leaders are willing to remove excess. Over-explaining often hides uncertainty, while simplicity signals conviction. Confidence is felt when nothing extra is needed. Clarity converts quietly. No urgency. No pressure. No manipulation. When clarity is present, decisions feel self-driven, not forced. And that's where the strongest conversions come from. Sell clarity. Because the brain always chooses comfort over complexity. Comfort accelerates decisions by reducing risk perception. This is not persuasion. It's alignment with human cognition. Sell relief. When people feel calm, they move forward. Progress happens when mental tension disappears. Relief is not a tactic. It's the outcome of clear, intentional communication. If this helped you see clarity differently, stay close. This channel is about removing friction, not adding noise, about thinking clearly in business, content, and decision-making, without overwhelm. Follow for more ideas built on psychology, strategy, and real-world application. Subscribe if you want systems that make growth feel lighter, not harder. And if you want to go deeper, visit SIVRAstudio.art, where clarity becomes structure, and ideas turn into systems. No hype, no pressure, just clarity that moves you forward.